So we all want to make beautiful wedding films, grow our businesses, stand out amongst the crowd, heck, even gain recognition from our peers. But through this perilous journey of entrepreneurship and wedding videography, we tend to fall in the cookie cutter lane when it comes to creating wedding films. Because we're finding what works, we're discovering our style, but sometimes we can come a little bit too complacent within that style. And I get it, what isn't broken, why try to fix it? But I think as wedding videographers and just as artists in general, we should always be striving to better our products, create more engaging and emotional films, because couples are catching on. They want more authentic wedding films. They want more story-driven wedding films. Just a quick side note before I dive in, this video is not meant to degrade or devalue anyone's work. We all have a style, we all have an audience, and a way of creating that we truly enjoy. This video today is merely a tactical way of how we can approach the couple's wedding day a little bit differently. Number one is to spend time with your couples. It's easy to get caught up in going through the motions with your business. A couple reaches out, you send them your packages, you book them, and then months go by and you realize that you really didn't take the time to get to know this couple as you're arriving on the wedding day. What's fundamental in telling an authentic wedding film, something that has a powerful story involved, is by getting to know your couple. Their personalities, who they are, what they love most, what they're most excited about. You have to know your couple to know the story. Sure, you can wing it and live life one frame at a time. I've certainly done that more times than I can count, and I've simply just relied on all the content that I capture on the wedding day to tell a powerful story. But with all those weddings that don't go well, you come back to the editing room, you feel paralyzed, you feel so discouraged because you don't know this couple that well, you don't know the story that you want to tell, and you simply just have no direction with how to approach this wedding film. So if you want to get to know your couple before the wedding day, here are some tactical ways that you can do that. One is to send them a questionnaire with story-based questions. The next is to film a story session. Capture an interview with the two of them. Let them recount their story together, and then capture some intimate moments between the two of them that you can weave into their story later on. And last is just to simply stay in touch with them. Follow them on social media, follow their journey, follow their life. That way when you approach the wedding day, you have a better understanding of who they are, and you can lean into their personalities to capture those genuine and authentic moments. Number two, the wedding is not the story. It's simply the setting. Weddings are often depicted as this perfect day, which is probably one of the most disingenuous perspectives of human existence because we're not perfect, we are flawed, we are imperfect beings. We are complex characters with weaknesses, strengths, goals, ambitions. Geez, I'm starting to sound like a political candidate. But it's through those vulnerabilities where we have the opportunity to create a deeply resonating story. Because in essence, a great story has conflict and resolution. It has tension, it has build. But how do you create conflict at a wedding? Well, you don't create it, you simply unravel it. Maybe the conflict is long distance, and the resolution is how they endured. Or maybe the conflict is losing a loved one, and the resolution is how they found each other through that dark time. If you want to tell a great story, you have to abandon the ideals that everything must be captured at the wedding day. And if you want to simply stand out, you have to go deeper, and you have to be willing to go deeper with your couples. Now, this isn't to say that you can't tell a great story from the wedding day, because you certainly can, but only if all the stars align. You have a beautiful venue, you have a charismatic couple, you have emotional speeches, you have vulnerable moments throughout the day. So many things simply have to go right. Number three, leave the camera rolling. Weddings are a production. They have become this choreographed dance that follows the same routine, the same dance moves, the same timing. And once you are fluent in that structure, you can be a lot more intentional with what you capture versus what you just leave up to the photographer. And you'll often realize that the best moments happen in those in-between seconds after the photographer has captured their frame, family photo, pose moment, whatever it is. Be mindful of what's happening in front of you and leave the camera rolling. You want to let moments breathe, because I have kicked myself so many times stopping record, and then the moment happens, and then I have to press record back, and I just lose those precious seconds that if I just taken the time to let that moment breathe, I would have had such a better moment for my film. So it's better to have a long drawn out clip with an authentic moment versus only 3 seconds that you have to slow down that simply just removes the emotion from it. Another way that you can make unique wedding films, but let's just say you're not really too fond of the editing process. You can actually send your film to a company like Uncut Gems that will take your film and turn it into this treasure that your couple will adore. Uncut Gems is a high quality video solution that I've been using for almost a year now, maybe actually more than a year now. And they have been absolutely amazing in not only elevating the quality of my work, but saving me time in the process. And right now you can use my code Wayward65 at checkout to get 65% off on your first edit. So head over to Uncut Gems, use my code so that you can kick backlog in the face and just get back to being excited about your business. Next is to edit in 24 frames per second. When you are editing your film in 24 frames per second, this is going to give you a cinematic feeling to your film. Help it stand out and help it feel a lot more timeless. This frame rate mimics cinema standards, creates that natural motion blur, especially if you are also filming in 24 frames per second, and ultimately helps your movement and expressions feel a lot more pronounced. This frame rate is so beneficial to wedding films because it gives those small emotional moments so much more weight and truly helps draw your viewer in to the intimacy of each moment. Number 5 is black and white covers a multitude of sins. I love infusing black and white in my wedding films to highlight certain moments, flashbacks, or my personal favorite, covering a multitude of lighting and white balance sins from the wedding day. Especially during the reception where I didn't have my lights or my colors just wildly inconsistent from the rest of my film. This useful and simple technique helps my films feel a lot more timeless and elegant. And in my opinion, black and white is just an artful approach to emotive storytelling. Next is to use ambient audio from the wedding day. Audio really is such an important motivator and driver in your film. It can either draw you in or take you out completely from the story. Using ambient audio from the wedding day helps you create these layers and atmosphere to your film. And it's all about creating that immersive experience. You really want to feel as if you're standing in that location all over again. And ambient audio is one layer that you can use to really achieve that effect. Build that space visually, use ambient audio so that you can truly transport the couple back into their wedding day. And last but not least, a crucial component to building an effective wedding film, an immersive experience, and creating a film that truly stands out in a different way is through building a scene. Ideally, you want at least 4 shots for every scene on the wedding day. And the best way to do this, in my opinion, is to, if you can afford it, have a second shooter. If not, take a zoom lens with you so that you can cover a variety of focal ranges, and just focus on a wide, a medium, and 2 close-ups. 1 moment equals 4 shots, and if you do that throughout the wedding day, you're gonna come back to the editing room and have so much to work with, so much opportunity to build an immersive scene, build an effective story that feels very seamless, that feels very natural, and that's the main goal. With every cut that you make in your wedding film, you want it to feel as it is leading towards a conclusion, that it feels very natural and intentional. But those are my tips for how you can make wedding films different again. I hope you found this video helpful and valuable in some way. If you did, it would mean so much if you consider liking and subscribing, drop a comment below, and until next time, keep creating and telling beautiful stories. Peace.